When my mom had her stroke, my husband and I became denizens of the road. At least 6 trips a year to Bison, South Dakota and Hettinger, North Dakota, where the rest home was located. Traveling through Plain States outposts where you could not get NPR, CNN, the New York Times, or even Turner Classic. Were all electronic network connections routed through a central switchboard. Jesus, Skip said, fiddling with the dial, trying to find some news, any news that wasn't Fox News or strictly local. Those trips, it was Dylan and Coltrane, Patti Smith and old radio shows, thermoses of strong black coffee brewed in out-of-the-way motels. No amenities, barely a light bulb. Where Skip had to pound the TV to get any reception at all. Huddled in bed, with a chair propped under the door handle, wind whistling through rattly window panes, we squinted at fuzzy broadcasts of HUD and the oil bunch. Read mysteries, made love, and wondered what the hell the next day would bring. Calling my son out in the morning parking lot, then stopping at a gas station for more CDs and chocolate, water, aspirin, no-dose. Pulling the car out easy and slow before revving up to highway speed. Coming up from the south, Skip did 90 and better, cutting through the Badlands over to Wounded Knee, Rapid City, Sturgis, Spearfish. The Black Hills. Jetting straight up from the plains. So sudden and craggy dark, they always took my breath away. Skip eased up on the gas, taking time every time through the hills, stopping at the crest to drink some coffee before making the final pitch toward Bison, land of the Ojibwe, the Lakota, Nakota, Dakota Sioux, the place where my mother was born and where she returned to die. Bison, South Dakota. Population 300. A town so small, the first time I went there, everyone knew my name. We stopped by the bowling alley to get Mom's mail and the news before heading out to Hettinger. "You take care, baby," old Jack calls. "Road's bad tonight. And tell your ma old Jack says hi." Skip's fingers tapping the steering wheel, syncopated rhythm. "Did you by any chance pack some Miles Davis?" he'd ask as we crossed the state line into North Dakota, driving 5 more miles. Always 5 more miles in the black backcountry night. The rest home, my mother, brittle and delicate as glass, much too frail to move to Indiana. Always so bright-eyed glad to see me. That woman just had her baby, she tells me, pointing out a lady old enough to be her mother. They think I'm pregnant, but I'm not. I keep trying to tell them, but they don't believe me. Later over tea, she says, they keep you here until you have your baby. Then they take it away and make you work in the kitchen, but they don't ostracize you. I hold her hand, tell her stories. We watch TV. Who are you? She asks. Your daughter, I tell her. You are? When we leave at night, delicate kisses, her cheeks still so soft, and the smell of her skin, I remember. I'll be back tomorrow, I tell her. Can we go to Alaska, she asks. Sure, Ma, I say. Anywhere you like. Out in the parking lot, I lean into Skip's body and search the sky for shooting stars. North Dakota, population 900, big enough to have a movie theater and a gift store with a small espresso bar. Farming is the main industry, and medicine. Postcards from Hettinger feature pictures of the hospital and nursing home, as though they were places you'd like to visit. Wish you were here, I write on a postcard to my brother. Truly. In the Pastime Bar and Grill, drinking bourbon and Dos Equis. Skip playing pool, me playing blackjack with the bikers heading south to Sturgis. Saved your old lady a bagel, Mike the biker tells Skip one morning at the lodge breakfast. Tell her I hid it behind the toaster. Last one left. Skip poured more coffee, complimented the man's bike, and pocketed some cream cheese. They think you're from New York, he said when I came down to eat, and kissed me. Closed mouth, no tongue, but still we got hard looks from the people 2 tables over who acted like seeing properly married cream cheese kisses so early in the morning would harm the children. Shorty at the gift store learns to pull espresso the way Skip likes and brings in a line of kind of crazy jewelry that she knows I'll buy. When she sees Skip sketching one day, she asks him to make her some signs. He won't take money, asks for trade instead. From then on, we get our coffee free. Always careful to buy something, leave a little goodwill behind. And when my mother dies 3 years later, Shorty tears up. "I'll miss you," she tells me. Big woman bear hug. "You and the Mr. Both, you were my best customers." Up through North Dakota to Minnesota, Wisconsin, Chicago. "Do you need to stop in Bison?" Skip asks as we load the car, and looks relieved when I shake my head. No. Pour some coffee, put on some Coltrane, let out the clutch, hit the gas. Up on the parched brown Dakota hills, abandoned tractors rest in the sun. Corn is dying in the fields. It's the third year of drought. The local radio stations urge listeners to pray for rain. We drive through the land of the Chippewa, the Cree, the Lakota Sioux, and stop at a native casino for lunch. Skip asks as he calls for the check. "But I want to go home," I answer. "Me too," he says, just the barest hint of a dimpled smile. It's time to hit the road. That was called Road Trips. Quass on horn, Julian Douglas on percussion. So this next piece sort of came to me in a whoosh when I was working on my syllabi for courses this semester. There have been some laws passed in the state legislature, and because of them we've been asked to put a whole bunch of kind of apologies and explanations and don't worry about this and don't worry about that, and I'm really not trying to brainwash you kinds of statements into our syllabi. And it made me very nostalgic for a time when we didn't have to worry about such things. So this is called Screamin' Jay. Screamin' Jay. When I first started teaching, one of my students began calling me Screamin' Jay Hawkins. And the name sort of stuck. Hey, Screamin' Jay, students would call when they saw me in the halls. Or Professor Screamin' Jay, if they wanted to get fancy. But I sort of liked it. Pleased, first of all, the students knew who Screamin' Jay was. That was before the hipper-than-hip Jim Jarmusch film Stranger Than Paradise reminded us all of the magic that was, I Put a Spell on You. Before most of my 1980s students rediscovered that fine old 50s R&B soul mix. Rockers in my class knew, and thought something about the way I taught Shakespeare and horror recalled Mystery Train and Voodoo Jive. And it was okay back then to be irreverent, as long as you kept it in check, remembered where your grades were coming from. Those were the days when I held office hours and dissertation groups in coffee houses. And it was all right, desirable even, to move outside the strict university walls and halls and protocols. When students put together be-ins and impromptu film and art installations in the back room of a bar as part of their final projects, and it was okay to hang out, even drink a beer. Not so easy now. Putting together my syllabi this week with all the mandated warnings and caveats. I might talk about history even though this is a film class. I might discuss race. My office hours are, I only need students in my office with the door open. And I wonder what's been lost. Educationally sacrificed in the name of strict security and safety and comfort. That's not even all that secure and comfortable because, you know, guns. Nostalgia designing my class. I think about former classes, students, times gone by. "What the hell was that?" one of my favorite students asked if I showed after I showed a particularly difficult film. And writing and laughing, I wrote it on the board. What the hell was that? I made it the starting point of our discussion. Unthinkable now. What if someone walked by? What if someone complained? Posting to Canvas, I wonder what Screamin' Jay would say about the compromises I make if he were alive today. And I wonder what Screamin' Jay, when she first started out, would have made of her eventual landing point if she'd seen the syllabus I posted today. We're going to wind up this set with Kyle and Julian. Thank you so much for coming. Poetry on Demand behind you, and we have, again, spoken word happening all afternoon and then all day tomorrow. Thanks again for coming out.